Okay. Welcome to BGFG. I am Chris Phoenix, and today we're going to look at the Wave3 microphone, which I happen to have right here, and it's what I'm using. Hopefully it doesn't sound like complete and utter ass. Because, well, it is what it is. So let's get into the review of it. Which for some reason now suddenly is not doing what I want it to do, but that's okay. Okay, so if I have this in here and I go here, there's my stereo effect. I'm just setting up right now because I didn't think that would happen, where it shut off the audio. I'm just putting a name of it so I can remember what the hell it was. All right. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about how you're going to be looking at the way this is going to be set up. So what we're going to do is the first thing we're going to look at is the Wave3 itself. Here is a fine picture of the Wave3. It's a good mic. It's a condenser mic, just like any other one. There's nothing to write home about. If you're spending $160 or so on a microphone, you're going to get the same microphone regardless of what it is. Whether it's a HyperX, which we reviewed here before, good mic. I like it. I love the look of it. Razer has one, which I haven't tested because I really didn't. I thought they went half-ass on it. They just want to put an emoji, really, on it, which kind of pissed me off. You have the Blue Yeti and all the Blue microphone products. They're all going to be relatively the same. They're all going to have different sound qualities the way they're built, but they're all essentially the same type of microphone. And you can even go as far as getting short-moneyed ones over on Amazon. That'll do a great job, no doubt. What you get in the box is you get the microphone itself, which is actually quite light. The base that you see here in the picture, the base is what's weighted, and the base of it is heavy. It is a good weight, but the microphone itself does not have a big weight. And that little thing that you see in the picture right there, that is an adapter, which I thought was brilliant that they put in. I got it right here, so let me just hold it up to the camera. And as you can see, it's tiny. It's a little tiny. It's got two different depths inside for two different mic inputs, which is really handy. I've been auditioning mics and stands and things like that for decades. And it's nice to have a little adapter, even though it's not like rugged and I wouldn't travel with this in a band. But for desktop use, this is brilliant. It's got three different sizes on it that you can utilize, which I really like. So you can put it on any stand you want. I'll eventually put it on a stand. But for now, we have this one. Now, the mic itself is really well put together. They offer different pieces for it. So again, this is just a quick review. That's not going to be in-depth and go into numbers and shit. But as you can see from the picture shows you that there's a shock mount, there is a windscreen or pop filter, and the stand itself. But the stand also has extensions. So if I can just... Oh, jeez, that's tough. So I'm going to hold it up even though you're not going to be able to hear me. That is the actual unit with two extensions, the pop filter, and the shock mount all installed on it. And right off the cuff, I'll tell you, first and foremost, number one, if you're going to use the stand like this with the two adapters, you're talking grand total. The microphone's 160, 170, depends on, you can get discounts, I'm sure. But what's really interesting to me anyway, is that all in all, this is going to set you back about $240 for the whole kit and caboodle. And I honestly, I'll let you know at the end of it if I think it's worth it. But here are the different pieces that you can get: the shock mount, the pop filter, and they all work exactly like they should. The pop filter is quite nice. It just basically clamps on magnetically. That's cool. The shock mount was not difficult to put in, and it's a good shock mount. It's solid. It's probably one of the better shock mounts I've seen out there outside of professional for standard broadcasters. Now again, we've all seen my mic 150 times. It's a professional Shure Custom 55 on a professional stand. It's XLR. I have a Go XLR to go with it, but not everybody's going to be going down that road. And I would encourage you not to go down that road unless you're really doing stuff. And I do a lot of audio. So the Go XLR combined with an XLR microphone, a good XLR microphone, works for me. But there's going to be something that, you know, you can buy your kids, or you can buy a friend for a gift, or, you know, something that maybe more economically you want to get. And I think the Wave 3 is where it's at. But we'll get into that more. First thing you're going to do when you set it up, you're going to download the software. You'll get your basic EULA agreement, which everybody sees and everybody reads, and it's the same old bullshit that every EULA is. The next screen you're going to get is this one. Now, I made this one a little bit bigger in the broadcast because this little bad boy right here, everybody sees this, and when you've put together enough shit that I've put together, or anybody else for that matter, you're going to just nonchalantly plug things in, hook things up, download the software, and get it started. This is not one of those things. For some reason, it does not want you to plug it in. Now, again, you see the microphone, you see a USB cord, you don't think about the arrow, and you're just like, oh, this is when I plug it in. It's like a printer. It's not. Not even close. Don't plug it in. I plugged it in. If you search the net hard enough, you'll find that I actually did a previous recording in a different shirt, and it didn't go as well as I wanted it to because I didn't follow directions. But again, do not plug it in. Get through the software first. Following setup is going to ask you where you want to put it. Now, this was a question that has been brought to me a few times at work. You know, it's kind of like, do I dig the hole before or after? This is the same thing. Where do I put the software? A lot of people nowadays, a lot of gamers, a lot of people that are going to buy a desktop computer, it's a good idea, and I stress this at work all the time, it's a good idea to get 2 drives. Get yourself a solid state drive. Again, if money's no object, I mean, you know what you're doing, so just have at it. Trust somebody. But for the most part, you want to create a drive for your operating system, and that could be whatever size is comfortable to you. It could be 250 gig solid state. I prefer the NVMe's that you can put directly on the board. You can go right up to 1 terabyte or whatever your heart desires with that. And then you have a secondary drive. A lot of time that's the mechanical drive, the cheap drive, the 1 terabyte for $50 drive. And you can tuck that into your computer. And that's where you store all your games. Now, a lot of people will install other things on that data drive, what we call a data drive. That data drive can have software on it. It can have stuff that you know, really isn't that important to the operating system. There is some things that are going to want to be on the operating system drive, and they will tell you that during installation. But for the most part, I only put things on the operating system drive that I feel kind of need to be there, that need to be accessed quicker or able to utilize a drive, read and write quicker. That's what I'm going to put on there. I chose to put the Elgato software on my C drive, which is my operating system drive, because it's the quickest drive that I have in there, and I'm going to need it to be able to produce audio at a fast pace. I don't need any lag. I don't want any slacking. I don't want any of that shit. So I would suggest put it on the faster drive that you have. It most likely C, because some people just have only 1 drive. If you have a laptop too, this is great for laptops. Next screen you're going to get to is usually an update screen. Do the updates. It never hurts. I'm so tired of people saying, oh, the updates break shit. I agree. If you're a Windows 10 person, yes, updates break shit. But 9 times out of 10, updates don't. And the only things they do break is stuff, honestly, that you probably shouldn't be using anyway. I mean, let's be honest. That software that you have, and I have it too, software that's really, really good that I've used for years and years and years, that developer hasn't done anything for this software in ages. At some point, when the operating system gets upgraded, that software is just simply not going to work anymore. Something in the back end of that software is no longer part of the operating system. It actually happens on Apple computers more recently, where older software that we've used for years and years and years, and Apple's nice enough to warn you first, says it's not going to work, and it doesn't. They're going to be upgrading stuff, and it's just not going to work unless the developer comes through and does something. Do the download on this. The next thing you're going to have is this is when it tells you to actually connect the microphone. Now, it's nice. It's a USB-C, so you're not going to get it wrong. The other end is your standard USB. You're going to plug that right into your computer. It should sense it pretty quickly. Next screen you're going to get to is when it's launching the audio engine. Now, this is kind of touchy. Now, I installed it 2 or 3 times now on 2 or 3 different computers. They all kind of did something different, but what you need to do, and again, I'm giving you the information. It doesn't hurt to do half of the shit that I'm telling you to do, even if you don't agree with it. It takes a few minutes. So The third time I installed this on this machine, I think it was, the launching audio engine took way too friggin' long. It just took way too long. So what I did was I just restarted the computer and it worked fine. It's going through quick. It's going through in about 5 minutes, and I had to restart the computer on one of the computers to get it to go. Not that big of a deal. You know, again, it's just restarting your computer. Next, you're going to get your welcome screen, welcome to Wave, and this is where the actual setup comes in. First thing it's going to ask you to do is select your monitor output. Don't worry, this isn't the sound coming out of your monitor, at least it shouldn't be. You should have a pair of headphones also plugged in to the back of the Wave 3. Get yourself a pair of headphones. I don't care what kind of headphones they are. This is the way you should be doing it. I don't agree with people that just use their speakers. Or, no, that's freaking stupid. You get slapped back and all sorts of stuff. Put headphones in. Once you put headphones in, you're going to click on the bottom portion, that black bar, and you're going to see a drop down. And that drop down, which is going to be indicated by a blue circle, that drop down is going to give you 3 options. One of those options is headphones Wave 3. That's the one you want to use. Plug that in. You're good to go. The next screen is going to ask you, let me pull it up, add your different channels. Now, the first thing it's going to show you is that wave microphone. So sometimes you have to turn it on, turn it off. So what I had to do is I had to mute it, which the mute button is on the top of this device. You see my finger going up. My finger's going. So I had to turn it off, turn it on to get it to see the mic. That's all I had to do. And you're going to find that a lot of times with the software, and it may be me because I have other audio software in here, but you may have to turn or toggle something on or off or go to another input and then back to the one that you wanted just to get it to catch a little bit. And we're going to get into that in a minute. So now that you've added your mic and your mic's there and you can hear it can hear you, we'll get into our next part, which is the routing app. Now, the routing is going to be slightly different, and here's what I need you to understand about this. This is going to be kind of like the way you connect everything. You can get there 2 ways. You can click on the button that you see when it comes up in the installation software, or you can simply right-click on your sound in your taskbar. Right-click on it, go to the top choice, which is Open Sound Settings. What this will do is open up sound settings, which we'll get to in a minute. That needs some adjustments, and you'll see how it works in a second. And the funny thing was that it was so difficult to find any information on this years ago when I started doing this, and I just found it funny that this is a basic thing that everybody that does this sort of thing, broadcasting, podcasting, streaming, you've done it once or twice. You had to. I'd be surprised if you didn't, but you had to do it at least once or twice to get shit to work, and nobody ever explains that. I'm going to explain that. And then once you get all set, it's going to open up the software, and it's going to ask you, welcome, and here we go. So now we're going to get into the display itself. Here we have the WaveLink software. So as you can see, in the top, I have 2 volume controls here. I have a headphone one, and that's how much I hear my voice, like online monitoring, in my headset. Really lots of echo that is just super annoying. The other side is what they call the broadcast. So you're always going to have, on every channel that you set up, you're going to have 2 channels right here. You're going to have a headphone side, and you're going to have your streaming side. This is important, because if you look down here, there's a monitor mix and the stream mix. Because you have the option, which I think is absolutely brilliant in this software, because you have the option to choose your headphone volume versus the stream volume, you can have things like, say, you're chatting with people on Discord. You don't want to put that on your broadcast or on your stream. So what you do is you turn down the stream version of it here. What that'll do is that'll kill that volume for that particular channel. Now you're asking, how do I add a channel? Very good question. This is when you're going to want to open your sound settings. You open up your sound settings, and again, to get here, once you get into your sound settings themselves, if you scroll down, you'll see app volume and device preferences and advanced sound options. That's where you want to be. What this is going to do is give you, see, everything's kind of shut off. It doesn't show anything in here right now. So what I'm going to do instead is, I know what I want to have going, and I'm going to show you how to get that going. This is the bread and butter right here. So on channel 2, I'm going to add something. What am I going to add? I'm going to put my music there. On channel 3, I want my sound effects. On channel 4, I think I want the browser, because I listen to some things in the browser as well. And then on the final channel, I want my system sounds. For now, this is how we're going to set it up. So now, as you can see, there's nothing really going. Let me play a sound effect. And nothing. My sound effects aren't triggering. I wonder why. Again, good question. What I do now is on the sound effects, in my case, I'm using an Elgato Stream Deck. So what I need to do is I need to play something in the Stream Deck, and I always have at least one sound loaded that's very long, like a song. That way what I can do is I can play it. The system itself recognizes that there's a sound playing, even though I can't hear it. So when I open up my systems, of course they're not going to do that now. Oh, it just doesn't want to hear that. Great. Moving on to the next one. Let's open up our music.
Smoke from the Lucy drip, hold it like a crucifix. Blow from the nose, I'm a
it comes right through. Now, I also preset that one up. So what I did with this one, I gotta lower that down too. So what I did with this one is when you open this up, if you notice, Spotify is being used by Wavelink Music. That's how I'm getting that to work. And since Stream Deck didn't want to play nice, I'm going to go ahead and open that up because I want to figure out what the hell. So now my wave's running over there. Sound effects we'll get to in a minute because I don't know why that's really not working. Browser. Let's open up a browser. Oh, let me show off the music first because you understand how that works. So now in the browser, I'm going to open that up, and as you can see, and I want to show you this too, because this is another one of those things people are going to ask, and I forgot to mention it. But if you look at this is from Elgato's website itself. There's 3 buttons on the front of this. You push the dial to actually tweak different things. The first one is for gain. Now, my dot is over. You can hear it clicking. Annoying. Now my gain is really up. Now I'm going to turn it all the way down because I think it's way too loud. And now I think my voice is a little bit too soft and I got to lean forward, which I do not like. Putting this on a stand or on a swivel stand or something like that, a boom arm, will help tremendously. But I also have a lot of sound coming into this room. I have 2 air conditioners and a fan. And it'll pick it up. This mic is ultra sensitive. The next button that you'll see, I don't even know if they explain it, is the headphone volume. This is going to be the volume that you hear coming out of your headphones. Now, again, is it like this? Kind of. This is a mix. So this mix down here for my headphones is not going to be changed by what I hear here. What I'm dialing up on the microphone itself is going to be for the actual volume control for the mic to feed my headphones. This, the software itself, is the overall volume for everything. So, again, be cautious with that. When I go to the other part of the browser, where's my browser? I lost my browser. There we go. The last one is a crossfade between your mic and your PC. This one I kind of leave all the way over to one side. I don't find the need for it yet. I think if you're gaming, specifically computer gaming, then you can adjust the two. I haven't found a reason for it. So I actually just keep it on the gain, and the headphone volume is... the gain's where it's at. Next thing I'm going to do is, like I said, I have that browser open. I'm going to go over to...
History of Star Trek, that is it. Thank you for stopping by. If you've got a bit
as
longer,
you see,
though,
the browser's
let's
now
have
playing,
a little chat.
but I have the volume
Benjamin
all the way
Lafayette
up.
Cisco, born in New Orleans in 20...
Another great thing you can do is check box right here. That right there will lock these 2 volume knobs to go back and forth the way you see fit. I do like that choice on some things, and you're going to play around with it, and you're going to find the reason that works for you best. But now I have the browser going. I have my wave music. I have my music going. All of these are all going. Now, on the stream output, I'm going to adjust how I see fit. That music's really low, but see how my volume is here? I might not be able to hear that in my headphones at all. I can turn the music all the way down, and that's still going to be louder. That's going to be softer than what I'm broadcasting, you understand? So, again, one side's broadcast, one side's mic, headphones. If you click that bottom piece like you just saw, you can just completely mute it. So now, I just muted my music. It is still going out. You guys are still hearing it. I can't hear it at all in my headphones. Different reasons, people are going to do those things. And that's okay. Because, again, this software is where it's at. The system sounds are exactly what you think. They're the computer sounds themselves. They're, I don't even know if I can trigger anything really quick. Here we go. Those are just system sounds. That's the computer sounds itself. So if you get a lot of pop-ups and alerts and you don't want to hear them, just shut that shit off. That's it. You can monitor what's going on. So say if you are playing all of these things. You're playing a bunch of games, and you can add games to it. I'm adding all these things and all these. I don't know what it sounds like. I don't know if everything's too loud, too soft. I can't hear shit. I get all my headphone volumes turned way down. So I don't know. If I want to hear what it sounds like, if I click down here, I can listen to the stream output. So now I'm hearing what you guys are hearing. And you can make your adjustments that go back to your headphones. Maybe when you game, you don't want to hear the game. You know, maybe you don't want to hear the game at all, and you just want to concentrate on your music. You played the game 100 times, but maybe you think that your stream audience only wants to hear the game sound and not your music, or your music very quiet. You can make that adjustment here, right here, doing all of those different things. So essentially, this is a great program to add anything you want. I'm still upset that my sound effects aren't working. That's kind of weird. I have to work on that. But everything's working. It's a great piece of software. Just add the pieces that you want. If I fire up a game, which I don't want to do right now because it's going to take too long, but if I fire up a game and I add it here to game, whatever I choose in my sounds here, I guess that's the best way to show you. Let me fire up Elgato. Again, another Elgato product, game capture. I run a cord, 100-foot HDMI cord for my PlayStation back there. I used to have it on the desk, but I moved it. It's back there, and I have it hidden under the floor, and it comes into the capture card into the computer. I probably need to turn that shit on. That's another thing, I have to be super careful. Because this mic stand and mic are tippy. They tip right the hell over really quick. So now, as I'm firing up the PlayStation, I should be able to go into my settings, and I should be able to see Game Capture HD right there. Now, I already changed it to Wavelength. As you can see, you have several different things you can choose from. So I have it on game. When I pick my guy, as you can see, it's already coming up through the system. I don't need to be that loud, but I'm going to make it loud enough in there. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to lock the system sounds, which is coming through on the game, even though it shouldn't be, but it is because it's system. Elgato works like that. It's weird. So now, once I have it in here, under my system, I can bring it up or down. So I don't have to have it broadcast really loud. It can be broadcast really quiet, or it can be really loud. That's kind of up to me. And again, you see that right there. If you have an individual game, say if you're playing Star Wars Squadrons, that's going to come up as an option under the game settings. So once you play around with it and figure out which one works which, for instance, I have to figure out why my Stream Deck suddenly hates me, which is never done before. My Stream Deck has always worked, and I don't see it, which is not good. But yeah, that's it in a nutshell. I mean, this is a great piece of software. My final review for this is essentially this. If you're just starting out, it is a phenomenal piece of software. You should own it. If you don't have any other mics or anything else, as we spoke about on the show before, you can get a web camera for like $30, a 1080p web camera from eBay, not eBay, but Amazon or just about anywhere else, and it's going to do 1080p and it's going to work just fine. You don't need to spend $300 on a camera. I don't understand if you're not making money at streaming, you're just interested in doing that or recording stuff just for yourself. That's cool. Walk before you run, because spending $600 on a camera, on a DSLR to plug in and have multiple cameras and multiple views isn't going to matter if you don't have content or anything else. There's no sense in going to buy, I had to explain this to my youngest son, there's no sense in going to buy a Go XLR and a high-end XLR mic if you're just shooting shit with your friends for half an hour every day. That's a waste of money. For $160, this mic, whether you want it on an arm or you want to stand it up on itself, by itself, on the stand, this is a great investment for social distancing, for work from home. This is a great product. You're all in at $240. The mic itself costs $160. It is a hell of a deal. And the reason why I say that is because of this software alone. This software alone is worth the money, in my opinion. Without a Go XLR, even then, when it's working properly, my Go XLR only has 4 channels. I could buy the Go XLR Mini, or I can grab the one off the spare production desk and put it next to it. That'll give me 4 additional channels. Yay. But I have to do some work to get that going. Again, I have 9 channels. I can just keep adding channels to this. They just keep going. And that's great. I can just add these virtual channels. So this is well worth the buy. The downfall, and one of the few downfalls that I feel. If you are experienced enough and you're using like a Streamlabs, you can go in and pick individual inputs and outputs and you can have all your ducking and stuff. But naturally, with the Wavelength software, there is no compressor, there's no ducking, there's no additional gain, there's no none of that. You're not going to make adjustments with this, and I feel that's a miss. I think if they added that one little piece into this, I think that would be very, very good. A lot of the other things, I mean, again, you're checking for updates, you know, you're setting certain things up. You always have access to this. Today, no, it's still not. Damn it. I don't know why it's not working. But it's definitely something that I feel is worth the money for everybody. I think it's worth every penny. Again, the only thing that's missing, I feel, is it's really, really touchy with the gain. I mean, it is touchy. I could pick up, I'll put this thing midway. That's halfway. I mean, I'm getting good volume and everything, but you are also hearing the air conditioners, the fan on the other side of the room. You're hearing all that stuff. So if you have a very quiet room, this gain's going to be awesome. It's very, very good. But if you're in a busy room or you have, family, dogs, everything else under the sun, I don't know. You might want to be a little bit more cautious. It's my opinion. That's the way I'm looking at it. Because I don't like all that background noise. And if you heard the broadcast before, you've heard me use my mic. And I just think it sounds better. But again, it should sound better for the amount of money I paid for it. Everything else here, I think it's just good. BGFG would definitely recommend the Elgato Wave3 microphone. And get whatever accessories you want. Thanks for tuning in.